like folks, I'm so sorry, you won't believe it. Like we were talking as if like we are live, and I forgot to press the go live button, and I thought pressing it on Zoom is enough. So sorry, folks. Today we have Niteesh Yadav with us as a guest who will be helping us, who will be helping me. I can hear myself, Niteesh. Are you? Now we are
Yeah,
live. So let us know if you are able to hear Niteesh. He has worked on tons of branding projects and has brought in the the culture of using mood boards at Head Out to discuss various abstract ideas. So I thought, who better person to right now help us, help me bounce off ideas with Niteesh. So yep, that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the ideas. I'm gonna walk him through. He has not given me any opinion so far, so I'm also gonna get to hear what he thinks about it. And before we get started with the mood board itself, what I wanted to walk him through was the Instagram survey that we did. So I'm trying to find it. It just personal brand read. Oh, this one is not updated. Anyway, never mind. We have to improvise a little bit. And let us know, folks, if you can hear us. And Nitish, say something. Say
hey
hi
man.
to the audience.
Yeah, hey guys.
Are you able to hear Nitish? Let us know in the chat, folks, if you're able to hear Nitish. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. And I'm going to walk you through this one. So this is where we started. This is what we had discussed with people earlier on live stream. The idea started here. I was looking at, I use a lot of photos. So I liked how, you could just overlay something. I could do just white boxes and overlay like whatever message I want to do. But that was just a random strange idea. This was around combining some basic illustrations with solid colors and with type. This was just similar idea extended. And I started looking at different kind of type of blogs. And then I was looking at mobile app kind of typesetting. I don't know why, just gathering some ideas because I wanted those reference, because mobile
Yeah,
typesetting is typically hard. This one was using stats and summarizing, some social proof. And this could be an interesting way to highlight work. As you can see, my Figma is struggling. All right, it's gonna drift. It's gonna drift. This is what I have to deal with every day. So then I was looking at the bottom of my website. There is this podcast, etc., which is not very nicely done, which is where I was looking at these kind of options. Then there was this new trend I saw on Apple iPad, this thing which was handwritten plus the type thing, which I really like. From handwritten and hand drawn, we come to these ideas like editorial illustration, which are hand drawn, some lettering kind of approach to write the logo and write the username. Same similar thing if I had a hand drawn portrait, which I could use in videos, video intros, etc., and maybe emojis. This was just a white space reference, a random idea. From illustration, I went to paper cut illustrations, maybe from blog or something, and then I could use neomorphic elements in paper cut style. I mean, just very similar that I could use. So this was and then dark mode of that we discussed. So this was the overall gist of the ideas that we had discussed last time. From here, I come down to narrowing down on the ideas. Dinesh, I think if I'm not wrong, mentioned in the last live stream that for my website, and I'll quickly actually show you the website I'm talking about. Um, so we have, this is my website, and as you can see, it's very text heavy, right? And it is not very different from your website. Speaking of which, folks, everyone watching, remind me to talk about Nitish's website. He is hiding a secret that he has not announced since very long, so we got to talk about that. Yeah, no option given to Nitish. He can't now hide that anymore. So as you can, so they were like, neomorphic element don't make sense here, and I completely agree with the folks. So I narrowed down to this, that some sort of hand written style, some sort of hand drawn stuff. So I'm leaning towards hand drawn a lot. For my blog, I will need illustrations. For example, I recently wrote a blog post on engineering designer collaboration. So maybe I can, like if I was making like some editorial illustration or collaboration, I can use these kind of elements. These are the narrowed down ideas. The interesting part to me was these were the keywords that came out of that you're informative, you're insightful, knowledgeable, etc. And there was quirky, energy, raw, inclusive. So this is what I came down to. For me, and again, these are my interpretation of these ideas, and since it's a personal brand, so that's where it can matter. And I know in a brand, proper brand sense, we would take references from audience as well, probably. But the Economist, yellow pages, information like classic information, so yellow paper and the ink. So the ink and paper inspired this. and just ink colors inspired this, like the dull ink color. After writing with the ink pen, it gets a little dull. Even though you buy jet black, etc., when you put it on paper, it gets a little dull. But these were some idea reference I got from there. Then this was interesting to me, raw and energy. I don't know if you know, but there was this entire thing on This Is What It Is, which was totally using emojis. This hyper 1.5, this style of raw comics, which I really love. Then Jiffy came to mind, which is just quirky things going on, and of course oatmeals, again like random hand-drawn stuff. In terms of raw and energy, I just was thinking of saturated, highly saturated colors. So these were the two other ideas and palettes like came to that mind, which was just highly two contrasting saturated colors together, or just like a softer pastel version of that, because I was I was considering like maybe I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I'm already like deconsidering it because it doesn't match the rest of the thing. But yeah, sorry for the long this thing. But this is the walkthrough, Niteesh. This is what I've been thinking about. So feel free to like ask me question, give me feedback. Like, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Like, am I in the right direction? Do you agree, disagree, or do you like? What do you think? Can't hear you. I think you are on
Yeah,
mute, Niteesh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So most probably, I think in this case, so since we are talking about personal branding, so here
Uh-huh.
it's almost like one of the major kind of drawback or like something which has become a problem for me
Mm-hmm.
as running my previous websites and based on whatever like illustration style I choose. So one of the
Right.
like major hurdle which becomes at a later stage is, so just imagine when you're working on your website, what happens is you take one of the best kind of illustration style or one of the best style which is like which you can do or which you can just go for. But in that case, what happens at times is, okay, just imagine you are spending like 10 days or like a month on your website, and then you have chosen a style which maybe your one illustration takes 1 day or 1.5 day. So it doesn't mean like your 24 hours, but again, if you're working on it, then at times it happens like, okay, you'll spend 5 to 6 hours perfecting an illustration or something like that. So in that case, like this style is very crucial when you choose something that either you take up two styles where one is your website style and then second is your running content style. So what I mean
Right.
by that is, okay, just imagine your website has like some polished graphics, and that goes on to be like, okay, that's there, and then you spend like most of the time there, and then you launch your website.
Mm-hmm.
But since your website is content heavy or something, like you have a further goal of like launching blog posts or something like content or any data which is going to be in form of like maybe you'll have to like show infographics or anything like
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
In that case, what happens is either you have to take this into consideration, you break your style in the first go itself, like, okay, my illustration for my website is going to look like this, and then you subtly like introduce like a slightly revved up version of it which is like toned down. So okay, I'll just pick color from my main illustration style, or maybe one element which is like maybe outline style can be something like this. So in that case, what happens is there is a visual coherence between what your website looks like and what is the content like which is going in your articles. So in that case, like a
Right.
lot of, so the major problem which I have faced or which I've seen is, so either if we are doing this exercise for a brand or maybe something like Head Out or any other major brand, then there is a dedicated illustrator for that whose job is
Right.
to do that thing. But in
Right.
your case, it would be something like, okay, you get a Sunday to write an article, and then
True.
if that illustration becomes your kind of hurdle to launch that article, which as a designer, because you have to maybe stick to your brand, because okay, just imagine you're a writer, it doesn't matter, you just pick up one illustration for somewhere else and then you
Right.
just
Right.
like
Right.
just paste it in there. And then as a designer, it's your responsibility that your, since we are talking about, solely about like brand, and then in that case that coherence has to be there. So in that case,
Right.
what you'll do is either, so yeah, this is the decision you have to take at this point of time. Either
Mm.
decide for one main style and a secondary style for running graphics, and
Mm.
then,
Mm.
or like you can go and tone down your like basic, the major style which you're taking is simple enough that you can just like generate graphics or like graphics for your
Mm.
illustration icons or any like Twitter post, something whatever you're doing, because your website is not your brand, it doesn't end there. It
Of course. Of
extends
course.
to
Of
all the
course.
social media platform, all the platforms you're going to work on. So if that is not there, then the whole point of doing your personal branding exercise becomes null, because okay, one place again there is one graphic
Hmm,
style
hmm,
running,
hmm, hmm.
second place there is going to be another one. So I think this is the first thing which you'll have to consider. Okay, I decide this path, or I decide a path with least resistance, where I just like I can generate stuff and then just post it there. So I think this is the
Right.
yeah, this goes to be the first one.
All right. I'm going to share Figma again. So what you're saying is like two, three things you mentioned. I'm just gonna walk through that the implication, so I make sure that I understand what you mentioned. Right. First, you're saying that there is a running text style, for example, how this is done, right? How the content part is done, and
Yeah.
then there is the media style, which is the illustration, how this media part is added, right? Is it 3D? Is it flat? Is it like this style or that style, right? And even in this style, it has to be something that I have to take time factor in,
Yeah.
because every single time I'm launching a new page or not new blog post, if I have to do some dedicated illustrator which economists have, they will create it in style, versus if it's very complicated style, it will take me even longer to sort of make that happen. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, in
Is
that
that
case, I'll
what you
just bring
mentioned?
in one more thing. So just imagine, like in your website, you are
Hmm.
doing maybe this, maybe something like this paper cut ampersand.
Right, 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 right,
Okay,
right, right.
in that case,
Wait,
just
I'll
imagine
just
this is
open it.
your
One
style which
second.
is running across your website. Can you zoom in that?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just imagine like this
There
is
you
your
go.
style, and then across your website, all your graphics are somewhat like this style is running through, and then now you are writing an article
Hmm.
which is your like very hand-drawn style. Then in that case, like
Hmm.
basically there is a like disconnect between what graphics are there on the website,
Hmm.
and then because that blog is also the part of your website. So some people in that
Right.
case, what will happen is just imagine your users landing. So some people will land on blog posts. Okay, Siddharth posted
Hmm.
one article, they'll land there and then they'll click on home to see your
Hmm.
website. And then in that
Right.
case, okay, just imagine there you were having some different kind of graphics, and then the moment person reaches the home page, then it's whole new like totally different thing. So in that case, like
Right.
there is a balance which has to happen between these two, where like either you just like take one element, small element which
Right.
repeats, so that there is there is coherence, or you take a very kind of simplified illustration style which goes on
Hmm.
both places. So in that case, like
Right.
you have to use basically it comes down to usability as well.
True, true. So makes sense. So I think from that point of view, it makes sense that there are two drawbacks to that style. The style. It takes time to create this. It's relatively easier than other illustration styles, because once you get this effect, it's really shapes, basic shapes, right? Adding this effect is like a couple of minutes job. But again, like not every illustration you can do in the style. You can't change the style, then you're stuck with the style. So I think it's too heavy. I'm just gonna quickly go to my website as well. And by the way, my AirPod battery is about to die out, so I don't know when it may just conk off. I'm quickly gonna open that and just walk you through like what couple of ideas were, right? So I intend to keep like most of the biggest chances, like I won't be able to. I thought about it. I won't be able to reduce the content nature of the website. Like it's content heavy, and it most likely kind of will remain there, because again, the kind of work we do after a point is just too heavy. Um, I have to bring. I will revamp this. I'll be adding specific case studies which I've written on another domain. Then this is another space I want to completely revamp. So there, but again, like it gives you an idea. Like information and data is what is going to be on the website, right? So I think in most and my blog is separate, by the way. It's a separate domain. It's on similar lines, but it's a slightly different aesthetic. Like so
Siddharth, we
if I
can't see your website right now.
oh, you're not able. What are you seeing right now?
Just the Figma.
Oh damn. Okay, hold on. Let me quickly do that again. My bad. Sorry, folks. I know the worst part is like everything is super slow right now, so I'm seeing it in super slow motion. All right, are you able to see stuff right now?
Perfect.
Damn. Okay. I opened my email by mistake. Let me quickly close that before that opens again. All right. So this is the website. The content I won't be able to reduce. This is work page. I want to revamp this. There will be a lot of articles that I've written that I'll be bringing in here. It completely needs a revamp. But as you can see, like I doubt I will be able to really reduce data. It is going to be data and content heavy. My blog is slightly different. It's a like it's again like it's mostly I've used just words. But again, like I've here the typesetting is slightly different, and I've optimized this for like long form sort of reading. Let me show you one of the blog posts, so you can see like, and I want to because I'm using Jekyll here, I want to start using custom styling for these. So I right now I'm just like just normal listing because I repost on Medium, but tomorrow I can think of like doing custom style, like every blog post is custom style. But again, like what I see is type is going to be and content is going to be like a heavy part of it. Lists are going to be heavy part of it. And given it makes sense. Like if I start adding like paper cut illustration and all of these places, going to become way too much. So it sounds like to me like I should go for the hand-drawn style, just like doodling, which is faster to do. I know I can personally produce this kind of once I have the concept in mind and clear, I can produce this way faster. And the same thing can apply on multiple. I can carry forward the hand-drawn kind of thing in other social media as well. For example, this I really like for YouTube intro. Oh god, this is really slow. Uh, just give me a couple of seconds, folks, as my Figma settles down. Can you see it? Like I'm not doing anything. It's just like moving and moving by itself. I don't know what to do. Yeah, there you go. All right. So this is, imagine this style if you are sketching, just it being sketched and some words coming written on it can be my simple YouTube intro. So the same handwritten style, like I won't draw necessarily. It can be just words. So some lettering style here. This, I think from that point of view, that makes more sense because it's easier to do, faster to produce and faster to replicate. Any thoughts, counter thoughts, Niteesh, or advice
No,
there?
I think this is the right way to go ahead because it's almost like just imagine we are right now talking about utility. So for some of you guys, it might be something like, okay, it's your portfolio website and then you're not writing any blog posts or anything like that. In that case,
Mm.
like you can spend like days or maybe like a whole month doing illustrations on your website. But again, for a person who has to maintain a brand across like different platforms and then he has to produce it like in a smaller amount of time, then you have to consider these kind of aspects. And then here like some people might go with, okay, maybe just like a totally type based style where they don't end it, they'll just go with basic like shapes and then like okay, maybe geometric shapes or something like that. Some people will go for like maybe a style which they know thoroughly. So just imagine in this case, like if you have been practicing the paper cut style and then you know
Mm.
like okay, you can just do that in 5-10 minutes. Then what it is doing is you spend like maybe 2 hours writing your article and then you just spend 10 to 15 minutes in whatever like reference or like additional material you have to create. And then if you have to spend more time on these illustration, which I did the mistake earlier, and then in that case like
Right.
I realized from all those mistakes. So either it's almost like okay, I'll like put my so I spent the Sunday writing an article, and then I was like, I'm not convinced that the illustration, the cover image is good enough, which I created like in hurry today. Then
I
what
know,
was
right? It binds you. You're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
damn,
So in that
damn.
case, it becomes okay, like okay, next Sunday or next Saturday when I'll get time, or maybe after office when I'll get time, then I'll make it. So in that case, what happens is your article is stuck. So you can't
Right,
produce the material with the frequency you want.
right. True, true. We're going to quickly take chat questions. Chat has a lot to say. We have Shreya Shekhar here. Hello, Shreya. Ritesh is here. Hello, Ritesh. Trisha is also here. And Trisha says, hello, Niteesh. Nice to see you. Mukul Chaturvedi is here. Hello, Mukul. Maybe you can consider a common element of your brand and keep evolving the image, keeping in common element. Just an idea. Yep, yep. This is
Yeah.
very similar to what Niteesh was also saying, Mukul. You're very right. One element. And I'm thinking like, most likely I'll make it a hand-drawn crown or a hand-drawn something that I can continue to use in different various elements. But the idea is like stylistically, I want to go with hand-drawn and type heavy thing, which kind of can work for my most of the stuff that I work on. Then Mukul says this maybe can be your blog image. Yep. Syed Numan is here. Hello, Syed. How are you doing? You are not showing the website. Sorry about that. Arpita, nice to see Niteesh here too. Arpita is also here. Arpita is also here. Say hi to Arpita. Arpita
Yeah.
always is very supportive. Out of all the folks that head out, Arpita was the only one who watches my live stream. The rest of them, I have to invite them to the live stream to for them to watch it. Ankit Patel is also here. Hello, Ankit. So makes sense. Now I'm gonna share my screen again, and Nitish, I'm gonna take a step, the next step in the process. And this time I'm going to share my full screen, and so it doesn't go away. This is also hand-drawn style, of course, minus the colors. Like I don't mind like going meme style at times. And I've also used emojis, but we'll come back to like these elements. These elements I can keep like only on YouTube thumbnails and those kind of things later. Coming to one of the problem statement that I saw in the Telegram group that we run, Niteesh, as well, was how do you translate like now let's say I'm consolidating, right? This top part is what is we are going I'm kind of going with. I'll remove this because this is too heavy. This is not hand drawn necessarily. This is a heavy illustration style. Thanks, Figma. Thanks. Why is it stuck? Let's look at our resource usage. For the first time, you folks will get to see it, what happens behind the scenes. Yep. So for no goddamn reason, like kernel is panicking. So this we are not going to use. But how do you like bring these people were asking like how do you take these ideas and translate them into specific visual style, etc. If you have pointers there, and what do you think about like is the direction I'm taking in terms of bringing out abstract ideas from the abstract keywords? Is this the way only way to do it, or am I right there or wrong there, or is there other ways I should consider? Especially when I was thinking about like ink lines, and especially now that we're talking about hand drawn, like these two colors of ink, I can do a lot with. This just these two all over the website can become like crazy. The thematic illustration with just blue ink comes to highlight something, right? If I'm doing some motion graphic, only the blue part is moving. So I can totally imagine that. But yeah, stepping back, I run ahead of myself again. Step by step, how do you bring out, let's say we have this part of the mood board, how do you bring out refined ideas to all the way where you starts getting specific from a mood board? What are the next steps would you suggest, and how can I alter my methodology?
Okay. In that case, I think what I usually do is first is so basically we are creating a personal brand. In that case, what happens is your visual comes first. Okay. In that case, like you find the best possible thing that you want to do, and then you kind of funnel it out using that whole ballpark of like whatever is there is your functionality. So one of the thing how we refined at later stage was because of the usability of your limitation was putting down or drawing illustrations at a faster level. Then that's the usability case where we kind of built out and then we decided, okay, we'll go with a illustration style which you are familiar with, which depends on like, okay, it might be different for me, it might be different for anybody else who's doing like their personal brand. So I think that's one thing. And then second, in case like, okay, if my basic look is decided, in that case what so in this case I think before I go there I tend to do this thing like the keyword thing which you did. I try to do that first. So even
Right.
in my all my projects, what I do is when I talk to my clients or when I'm talking to myself, in case like, to be honest, like the hardest person you'll ever work with is yourself.
Of course, that's why I have you here, Niteesh, to bounce off ideas, because I have no clue where to go with my own brand.
So in that case, what happens is, okay, you'll have so one day you'll have certain expectations, and then next day you'll wake up, and then you'll have expectations which are much more high.
Right.
So that gets you in a circle, and then you have to break the circle at a certain point. So in that case, what I tend to do is first do all the keywords what I really want, and then
Right.
what I want to portray. So in your case, it's almost like, just imagine you are at so maybe you are starting or you are in a mid-career level, and then what you're
Right.
designing, what is your purpose, what is the purpose of your website. So one is like, basically I'm
Right.
designing my portfolio.
Correct. That's where we started.
Yeah.
Every website has a goal, and my audience is primarily the three layers: students, which interacts with me on social media, and then they discover the website. Then peers in the industry for community and other engagement, and then CEOs, CXOs, founders, etc. For again like extended community engagement and brand engagement. What they get out of it is mostly in students are looking for information, guides on how to get started, etc., etc. Peers are looking for frameworks, discussions, and CXOs are again looking for frameworks to measure how to get started, guide, evaluation techniques, and all those kind of things. Right.
Yeah.
So, yep. So overall, that's what we started there, and then we went on to ask. I asked my Instagram audience that, okay, now I have clarity of what I want to portray. My portrayal, I wanted to be like, think about one of like in design, product, and startup world, an evangelist and some authority who helps people start up their career in there. And if you are in the industry, one of the people who are, you can say vocal and spokesperson, or like just
Yeah.
visible in the community in that sense, right? So that has been the goal for the brand. uh, yeah, that's where we started. That's what we did first, Niteesh.
Cool. So in that case, I think what you would be doing in your style is another filter you'll put in is from these keywords you have come up with. So in this
Right.
case, you'll just like, okay, just imagine you were, so since you do all the quirky kind of videos, which were
Mhm.
like unfortunately on TikTok, which is not anymore. So yeah, in
And look
that
at
case,
you, you're so happy about it, huh? You're so happy about it.
bro, I don't use TikTok, so it's almost like, okay, it's gone, it's gone.
Rohan is the only person who's sad about me losing TikTok. Damn.
So
Let me
basically,
know
it's not
if you
you.
folks
It's
miss
just
my
like,
TikToks.
okay, the whole concept of TikTok
I
never
get it. I
supported
get it.
it. So in that
Fine.
case, yeah, in that case, like that quirky fits in really well. And then how now you are going to, so basically in your elements, so
Mm-hmm.
in your illustration style, that has to reflect in some way or the other. And then in this case,
Mm.
like, okay, maybe if you just want to break the style and then you want to go with like the whole oatmeal kind of thing, where it's almost
Right.
like that's quirky kind of design. And then in that case, like, okay, maybe you'll mix up all these like whatever, so maybe a rough kind of style, and then like something which is like quite fast sketches, something which
Right.
works there.
Like this. This is a very fast sketch. This is literally I can do this in like 5 minutes. And conceptualization is also not very difficult because these are very abstract.
Yeah. So in that case, like if your like focus is clear that okay, this is my
Hmm.
visual direction, now your second element which will come in, how do I make them funny, how do I make them quirky? Because at times I just
Hmm.
imagine just see this kind of so this sketch style, which is this sharing work in your
You wanna
work in
share your
progress.
screen?
No, it's fine. This one is fine. So
You wanna share your
the
screen,
whole,
Niteesh? Okay.
yeah,
1 second. Are you sharing something with me?
trying.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna take chat quickly. Let's see what the chat says. So because the chat must be saying a lot of things, and we have not taken a look at the chat. Yep, yep, yep. Arpita, hand drawn. Okay, Arpita, always more power to you. Thank you, Arpita. Shweta Singh is here. Hello, Shweta. Hello, Siddharth and Niteesh. She says. So say hi to Shweta, Niteesh, if you get a chance. Bidesh says, "Hi, Niteesh. Why you don't like Helvetica?" Oh God. Uh, why is it Niteesh, Niteesh typography Yadav, as we like to call you on this channel? Why is it that you do not like Helvetica, Niteesh? I don't mind like taking a diversion, quick diversion, since we're talking about personal brand. Oh, this Shakya is here. He also says hello, but yeah, Videsh says Niteesh. Why this hate for Helvetica?
So one, to be honest, like that design or that fact was not designed for like screens. So Helvetica, if you say like, okay, I'm in a, I can like digest Helvetica new because that was optimized for screens, and then the whole the proportion of the letters, and then even so if you see Helvetica, and then one of the major factors which will come in. So if you compare the letters like E and all these, so if you see everything like everything closes down. So Helvetica as like, okay, maybe most probably I'm assuming your ages. So I'm just imagining you guys are from like maybe just like I'll take the lower benchmark to be 15 years of age to maybe 35 of years of age. But imagine like ask your parents to read those kind of texts at a later stage of time. And then what will happen is at times like once you grow older, you're like the quality of your visual acuity, which is like how to differentiate between letters and then all those kind of things, they kind of depreciate with age. So in that case, Helvetica's all the letters, most of the letters are very kind of close, where the counters are very small, and then the apertures are also very small. So in that case, like you tend to kind of get confused between. So not you, you might be fine at this stage, but again, people struggle with letters like okay, C, O. They can't differentiate because it's almost like okay, that basically it's very small space which is open. So in that case, like basically it might look fine at this stage, but again it has a kind of usability issue. And then another thing which was there, like it was designed for print. So okay, if you're using it for print, I'm totally okay with that. But if I see it on screens, okay, then
I will
I
vomit.
go bonkers. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, folks, speaking, this reminds me, Niteesh. This reminds me, like, this is a good time now that we have you live here and you can't deny, like, you can't run away anywhere. Max, you can do is shut your laptop and pretend that electricity went away, but we know you have power backup. So, yep. So, the folks, all of you listening in, Tell us if you enjoyed Niteesh's last video, and all of you have been asking me, you want a video on live discussion and presentation on typesetting, how typesetting is done, how type scale is done. Let us know in the comments right away, in the live chat right away, if that is what you want, and we will kind of like force Niteesh to do that. But this is the time you can tell Niteesh live that yes, that is exactly what you want as well. All right. So what I'm going to do is share my screen again, Niteesh.
Yeah.
And 1 second, I have, it seems like my audio has switched from somewhere. 1 second. I'm just going to fix my audio. Oh, no, it's fine.
No, it's working fine.
Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking like makes sense the styling wise. So I think I'll go with the simpler elements. Like I'm just in quirky wise, it makes sense that that's just easier to narrow down on, because that's a really unique part. Informative, honestly, like so many websites are informative. And I'm just thinking like when I need to keep it simple, when it's related to text, I'll go towards this style. And when it's related to, let's say, Instagram visuals or YouTube video intro, I can add more diversity of colors, or I can add a little bit more detail in video style. So then I'm thinking of static style, video style. In fact, this can be video as well in a GIF way if that I was toying around, like to make it quirky. So I can use motion or color or like some sort of interpretation to bring out the quirk, which makes a lot of sense. Now, so our styling is clear. What would be the next steps from here, Niteesh? If you tell us, like, what to, let's say, how do I arrive at, have my styling in place? How do I arrive at my color, or start exploring my type? How can I go about that?
So in terms of, I think from here you have like pretty much good idea on what kind of direction you want to take. So now you have, just imagine you have three kind of particular references, and then which
Right.
have different kind of styles. So if you go the images you have shortlisted.
Right.
Yeah, these three. In this case, like right now, it's a particular style. Now, out
Right.
of it, if you spend time, you'll generate a specific Siddharth style, and then which is
Mm-hmm.
like pretty much unique to Siddharth's website, where the eye might be like a certain kind of color or something like that, or maybe some visual element which remains quite dominant across different kind of illustrations. So in that case,
Right.
like you'll build a style so that like nobody can say that I have seen this kind of illustration somewhere else. So in that case,
Right.
like the moment person, your returning visitor will recognize, okay, that is the content from Siddharth, and then somebody sees it on Twitter. So basically, it's
Right.
almost
The
like, I
brand
think,
recognition starts to
yeah,
happen from that
yeah,
style, right? Like Pablo Stanley. You see his illustration
exactly.
anywhere and you know it's Pablo Stanley's
Yeah.
illustration.
So in that
Right.
case, what will happen is, okay, so it might happen like you start doing it, and then there are four more people who are going to do. So this happens like if one
Hmm.
person's style is replicated by 10 people. So in that case, like you are doing first, and then your like loyal users will always know, okay, that style
Right.
originated from there, and then that's your brand now. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
just imagine your brand, whatever stuff you buy in the market. The first person who does this and makes the impression, it's like it get imprints on people's mind, and then the moment they see like another brand doing the same thing, then they know, okay, who copied from whom. And then again, that becomes like
Right.
that recognition is something which we are like going for, because it's all
Right.
about a brand.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So I think I'm going to explore that behind the scenes, folks. In the next live, I'll share with you what my exploration on this front were. Meanwhile, I think I do have some ideas of colors as well, but I think I'll be better able to judge which whether these directions work, or do I need to explore even further directions once I'm using them in the style, because that is where the consideration will come
Yeah.
from. Because honestly speaking, the text, any of these styles will work for text, but which works for my illustration style will be the limitation, where do I need all these colors, do I need this in primary or secondary, or do I need these to have slightly different kind of palette. So I think those consideration will so that this is what is that what you meant by like the usability
Yeah.
criteria for picking these colors and picking
Yes.
these options. Makes
So
sense
again,
with these.
in this case, like just imagine like what we were doing was a lot of tests, in terms of like we were trying different illustrations when we were doing our illustration, not illustration style but color style. And then
Right,
we,
right, for head out, yeah.
factor which will come in is your, like, basically the moment you design your website, it's not just limited to text, or it's not just limited to illustration, but also backgrounds. So where
Mm.
which kind of background is going to come. So just imagine like, okay, will I be able to use this yellow as a full spread background? Will
Right.
like the user who's reading the text with this background, will he be comfortable reading this? And then in that case,
Right.
like either you go in two directions. Either you decide, okay, I won't use this color for background anyway, and then
Right.
that's like, okay, in that case, like this color frees from the like that
Right.
foundation. And then in that case, like other so if I see the secondary palette with the blue color, so in
Right.
this case, what happens is the problem which I see at this point of time is there are so in this color there has to be one accent color which is like quite dominant. So
Right.
the clashing colors which I can see is this turquoise and that green. So these are very close to. So in this case, like
Right.
just
This one.
yeah. So just
Right.
place these on like this blue background. So in the
This
illustration
is
style,
actually the if you look at the brightness and they are fluorescentish like that.
yeah. So in this case, like maybe whatever you're doing, you will fix one as your accent color.
Right. Right. Right.
Your
Right.
your background goes to be something like blue backgrounds, and then your CTA is going to be some. So now another element which comes in your CTAs. So which because we are talking about website and then how your CTAs are going to look. So that becomes
Right.
another like function that becomes your functionality kind of thing where
So these are
again,
all constraints, right, of the
yeah,
usage. These are constraints like in typical in design whenever we have to narrow down. And this is an interesting point of view from general cycle as well that all you will have seen double diamond as well method as well. But all design processes are like that you go and expand outwards and then to narrow back down to something you start adding constraints. Is that fair way to look at it, Nitish?
yeah, yeah. And then otherwise, it's almost like this is if we don't add any constraint, then this becomes art basically.
Right.
Like
True.
we are
True. Then it
exploring,
is
and
art.
then we are because we right now we are designing based on like end user in mind. Okay, will the person be able to even see that CTA, or will he
Hmm.
be able to kind of read that text? So these are the
Right.
considerations which come in, and then that's how we kind of drill down to our choices, and then we don't get lost. To be honest.
Right, makes sense. What I'm gonna do is quickly take questions, and then we're gonna I have some questions regarding your website, Nitish, because I hear you have redesigned your website. And if you can, actually, what I'm gonna do is paste the link in the chat so we already can see once we have spoken about it.
Cool, cool.
Arpita says, Siddharth, you can't stop smiling at the response. I know, right? Because we have bonded over Helvetica hate so many times. In fact, one of my oldest articles which went viral was stop using Arial and Helvetica. Stop it. So it's in people connect designers like people. I am obsessed with Helvetica, honestly. Like I would make brand identities from it. I would make print things from it. I made so many posters, but I wouldn't use it on web ever. Like I think it looks really bad. Puneet Chawla says consistency. Hello, Puneet Chawla. Glad to see you here. So glad you join us, Puneet. Really kind of you. Said Numan says that there are better options. I don't like Helvetica. Yes, there are 1,000 better options. One of the typefaces that Nitish got me addicted to is IBM Plex Sans. If you've noticed in my recent videos, everywhere I've been using that. We'll come to that, Nitish. But like you recently redid your website, and can you tell us a little bit of background while I open it and share it with folks?
Cool, cool. So basically, this is almost like I did my rebranding last year, but again, like as my whole outlook is changing. So basically, my brand is changing now from basically as a product designer to more towards because my research has been like from last 3 years. I've been working on my AR research, and then basically my website doesn't talk about it much, and then doesn't celebrate what. So basically, in like in future, if I talk about like that's the kind of path which I want to like establish. Basically, there is one like Nitish is a product designer, but again, what is the thing that kind of excites me, or what is the direction that I want to take, is something like okay, product design, but in the space of AR and VR. So in that case, and then another thing which was missing was like I was not sharing much. So now I have started like sharing a lot of. I've started like writing a lot of articles and all those kind of things. So in that case, like basically, I was feeling that void. Okay, my website once people were opening, they were not getting. Okay, they got to know that I'm a product designer, and then some bits of lettering and all those kind of things which were there. But again, there was a problem which was happening was nobody knew what I really do. So in this case, like now I've just set a brand. So the main focus, what you see in the website is like it's AR and VR, and then it kind of also shows like what are the other parts that I also work on, which is your product design, and then like I do illustrations and like type based projects. So in that case, like yeah, just trying to kind of push in what I try to do and what I want to do in next 2 3 like coming years, and then kind of coming up with a section which like shares much more. So there is a learn section which is going to be launched soon, which will have all the like videos
I
and
see a
links.
shop. I see a shop.
Yep.
I see a shop. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want all four. When do I
Well,
pre-order, Niteesh?
pre-order.
To pre-order, please spam Niteesh on Instagram DMs to get prices and to pre-order. Niteesh, please consider. Consider that I've ordered Bhand and Pride. These two I've ordered already. The
Cool.
other two depends on. I don't even know about the price. I don't care. These two are so good. I want them right now. The other I'll ask you the price and then order. But these two are so good. I don't care what the price is. I just want them.
Cool, sorted. So yeah, right now I'm seeing some glitches which are happening, like some typefaces are not loading. So this is
Right, right.
which I'll
For
quickly
example, this one did not load. Load.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying.
So in this case, like again, one of the major consideration which people will fall in is like the typefaces you might like will not be available with different services. So you'll have to self-host them. So this is another consideration, like which, okay, I'm very like anal about this fact, like what type I use. So in that case, like I've self-hosted most of them because I was not finding them like through any service, and then I really wanted to use them. So yeah, that's the main bit.
Wow. So folks, another thing that I've been pushing Nitish to do, and let him know right here. Let this be the audience survey, a survey that he has tons of experience in AR and VR. He continues to associate and consult on various kind of projects. Across the world, people keep consulting him on AR and VR, and there's a lot of research papers Nitish has been publishing. You've got to check that out on his Medium. I've been pushing him to come to YouTube, make a YouTube channel. And as a practice, let's ask him and let us know in the chat and write Nitish live stream if you want us to continue our typography and type scale and all of those lectures on YouTube. And instead of making it recorded videos, we'll make it live stream so all of you can participate as well. But yeah, so you gotta let us know. You gotta let us know if that is what you are um, interested in. And I'm quickly going to look at chat, Nitish. Let's see what other things are there. Nitish, new website is lit. Siddharth says, why is that scrolling marquee not fixed? Siddharth, I am guessing you would have a better answer.
It will get
You,
fixed.
the engineer. Shreya says, great portrayal of personal brand on his websites. Looked like his niche is communicated so well. I completely agree. That is why precisely why I have called Niteesh Yadav as the first guest on this series, especially when it comes to personal brand redesign. I think it's extremely critical. Yes, Niteesh Yadav on YouTube, please, Niteesh Yadav live stream. We have two messages, and please, folks,
That's
continue
coming
to
soon.
continue to push it in. I'm gonna take a screenshot, and we're gonna use that to bully him till he creates his channel. We want to learn about VR. We want to learn about typography. We want to learn about future of AR. What kind of research is happening? So I am curious. Like I would watch so much. So we have Shreya Shekhar saying hashtag Niteesh live stream. So from Niteesh Typography Yadav, we want you to become Niteesh live streaming Typography Yadav. So that is our agenda. Thank you so much for joining in, Niteesh. I know you have a lot to do as well. And in last 15 minutes, I'll share some more ideas with the Janta here. And meanwhile, once again, thank you so much. What I'm going to do is take the URL and post it in the chat for people because other people can't post the URL. Only I'll be able to do that. So you can go and you can click on his Instagram link and DM him to place order. Niteesh, as you can see in the chat, as you can see, we have audience for you. So please make that channel as soon as possible, and we will use this as evidence, as public evidence, to bully you on Twitter and every other social media. I'll run ads. Nitish is starting his Instagram channel. But I hope we see it soon. Thank you so much again, once again, Nitish, for joining us and giving me this wonderful direction. This was really helpful. Like I would have spent so much time like this or that, and like we have our worst clients, like you said, right? But this clarified so much. I'm gonna bother you again multiple times throughout this process because when it comes to typesetting and type choices, I'm gonna bother you again. I hope you don't mind. And I
No.
hope I hope the Janta will like the excuse of calling Nitish again. So see you, Nitish. See you. Good night.
No, man,
I'll
thanks
catch
a
up
lot
with you
for
soon.
having me. Okay, bye
Thank you
guys.
so much. See you. And if we have more questions, we'll do a live with Nitish soon, and you can take the questions there, Nitish. So
Cool.
live with again, Niteesh, I hope we are doing the typesetting and type the next chapter of the type
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
thing soon.
That's happening.
Awesome.
Good.
You
Bye.
can use this as evidence if Niteesh doesn't do it soon. See you, Niteesh. Bye.
Good. Bye. Good night, guys.
Good night. All right, so that was Niteesh. Thank you again for Niteesh. Thanks to again Niteesh for joining in. Can't thank him enough. He's one of the most brilliant folks I've ever worked with. Every single time, like his ideas, his clarity on things, his experience on with when it comes to like scaling things is mind blowing. The last part of our live stream that I wanted to catch quickly, folks, which we have 10-15 minutes for, is just wireframing some of the concepts, right? And I know we won't be able to get into deep into wireframing, but I really wanted to share with you folks this powerful idea of what wireframing is actually capable of doing, and it's how people may not know its uses. I use wireframing to think. So gonna just try and share my screen, and once it gets shared, let me know if you're able to see it. So I'm gonna look at like what are I have a main Niteesh was talking about it as well. What are the constraints? I want to discover constraint with my out of habit. The first thing I write is head out. This is what happened when you're obsessed with your work, folks. This is what happened when you're obsessed. So what do I have? I have main website, and my brand is not the website, right? I have other video channels, right? And then there are social conversation channels, so video and media and those kind of images. And this is I want to say that there's actually there's website, and then in website there is also written content. Written content brings us to blog. Social brings us to like IG, Twitter, interaction kind of thing, right? LinkedIn, and yep. So there are these various kind of factors. So what I wanted to quickly narrow down is I'm just gonna quickly live imagine like how can I portray what I'm talking about in all these different projects, right? I want to be able to differentiate and rethink this entire plan once again a little more clearly. So I'm going to have a personal website, right? Which is going to be hub, right? It's going to be hub. So I want like an intro section, right? Where I introduce this thing. Then I can talk about my work, then everything else, right? And then you have navigation, which can take you to blog, and blog will have the things that like it'll have long form things going on, and it'll have videos and podcasts going on, right? So podcast, I don't. I'm just drawing out like quickly here, folks. Like, don't pay too much attention to what I'm drawing here. But just thinking out loud, like, what all do I need? What all constraints do I have? Then, if you go to all these things, and coming from blog doesn't have as many videos actually. Yeah, that's true. Blog has podcasts. Blog doesn't have videos. So it has this long form content, right? Words. That is one long form. This is one of my constraints. So then I have a video, and I make a lot of like visual content, right? Visual media, etc. So in video, in video I have a variety of topics, and I don't know if you noticed, but and I will show you quickly. I've been using color coding on my YouTube thumbnails to be able to differentiate one topic from other. For example, personal, all most of it is designed so you see red everywhere, but there's subtle color scheme. And if any of you can guess in live chat, let's see if any of you can guess and find out what color I use for what topic. So there's video there, of course, and a similar thing can happen for visual elements. Let's say if I do hand drawn this thing, right? What kind of visuals do I need? I need editorial illustrations, conceptual. Editorial we already saw. Conceptual can be like the one I did on diagrams, etc. Like this is conceptual. Wireframing is conceptual illustration. Then there can be narrative driven, right? Narrative driven can be like there's an actual story, right? These kind of visuals can happen. So I want to do a style of visual in hand drawn. I want to find the kind of hand drawn is already makes sense for all three. I can do all three with hand drawn, but in somebody in the chat also was saying you want to find an element you can repeat again. That element I would want to be able to repeatable in all three. So these are my constraints, right? And they attach here as well. That I want some symbology to be able to use there as well. I don't know if you're able to follow up with me, but what I'm doing here, but this is kind of become my homepage, right? And I've thought about like how people may discover various kind of things. They'll be like, I do YouTube here, I do podcast here, I do blah, 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 all these things that will be great here. And you know what style I'm talking about because I discuss in the mood board. Now, the second conceptualization that I want to do is the work tab, right? And I'm going tab by tab. In work, I want a primary area to explain what I do, right? I always like to call it promo area. It's not a promotion here, but I'm just summarizing my entire work. Then I want dedicated area for head out and related work, right? Links here. And then I sort of want a dedicated area for past work, right? So Instamojo can be one, the rest of the past work can be another. So work is going to be fairly straightforward. Either it's going to link into an internal page, right, which is long form, which we already covered, or it's going to link to Medium article or some other third party or my blog, right, which we'll cover later in something else. Now coming to speaking. Speaking one is interesting because speaking one gets me a lot of invites as well. And now people have stopped inviting for physical events. So of course I'll have promo area where I talk about the fact that TEDx and how many colleges these two work amazing as social proof. I want to add logos of colleges because there are some things like NMIMS or VGTI or BITS Pilani Goa campus. So these are a couple of colleges which people will recognize. So I want to add logos here, of course, right? And I want to add TEDx here, and I want to add the count, which is almost 45 plus now, because most of them are live, and I want to add filters in this list, because first I want to just be have the videos one, so you can see all the videos on, or you can go to all and you can see the master list. That's how I'm thinking about this functionality to be. And I want a CTA to be invite, right? And I want secondary CTAs to be one is you can find my speaker profile, right? Before inviting me, you can see what kind of things I talk about. And you can, a lot of people ask me, can you send me photos? Can you send me all this thing? So I want to link to the press kit, right? So you can find everything there. But that's a rough idea of what I want from my speaking page. The last page that I want to talk about is featured, right? And here I want to have like podcasts because I'm getting featured in a lot of podcasts, live and videos that I'm featured in, which is interviews I want to feature. Then traditional online interviews, which is written, right? So on blog, etc. Then finally, I want to list down traditional media because traditional media is kind of dying out. So I want these featured and bragging rights to be about this, right? And I can also say mention, right? Because this is where the strip of logos you see, Bloomberg, etc., that comes on my homepage. Those places I've mentioned. I'm quickly going to take chat, folks, before I proceed from here. I don't want to bore you folks because I've been speaking for a long while. NiteeshYadav.com, Niteesh Yadav live stream. All right, so there's not much in chat. So, but if any of you are you able to follow up with what I'm saying here or not? Just let me know, folks, in the comments. So as you can see, what I use here this is the requirement list in a way, right? So it's not even wireframe, honestly speaking. It's just writing visual note taking. And that's honestly speaking what wireframing is. It just helps you think out loud, right? Then I want to have a blog style. On my blog, I want one to be index pages where you can find a lot of things, and one long form. And in long form, I want to be able to have custom blogging style. Speaking of custom blog style, this blog is supposed to be edited. I've been feeling like I want to make a custom style. You know how every blog post is designed on some designer's website. I've been wanting to do that for the longest time, years. I've never gotten time to do it, but this looks like a blog post where we can do it, right? So custom blog post where I can add custom elements, custom layout just for that blog post, right? And the last and least will be about media. For example, that can be video or podcast, which I link to, and all other resources, right? That is going to be my blog. And the last but not the least is which I wanted to talk to you folks about was user economics. Here, what I want to have a start here tab, right, for designers. So it will have how can I get started, then all the topics. Over time, I want to be able to curate other people's content and make my own videos and exercises, and over time develop sort of a master course for design. And I'm not getting started on it right away. Over time, this will naturally happen as I continue to make videos. But if I curate it in a certain way and add more written content, so your start here can become the master course in design. Then there can be other mini courses like with Niteesh. The entire typography series can be like other mini series and courses along with it. Then this is just the content bit. Then I want to also make design tools. What do I mean by design tools and resources? Resources can be links, but So yeah, I think I don't want to, everything is previously I mentioned is resources only. So I will take that out. What do I mean by tools? What kind of tools? So maybe I can give you templates. In templates, I'm thinking about PRD templates, documentation templates, all the downloads that I talk about, right? Then you can have programs that we already spoke about. Programs can be like the blog portfolio review, sorry, the review that we do, the mock interviews that we do, etc., etc. All the programs that I launch in future, you can participate in there. Tools can be templates, frameworks. You can download the framework. Tomorrow we want to be able to launch the my own version of type scale, because I want there are tools to generate type scale, but they are not tools to generate type scale specifically for mobile or mobile and desktop both, and translate between the two, right? So those are the kind of tools I can launch. I will invite some of the developers that I know, engineers I know, to help me build out these tools, maybe on live stream, maybe on their channel. Akash Goyal, who oldest friend, one of the oldest friends of mine, he is been live streaming on Twitch, and I'll be joining him on his live stream to help him with design. He'll be joining on my live stream to help me with coding this website and other all these tools that we talk about. So this user economics, now that I have a rough idea what it takes, it will be something like this, right? I'm just gonna quickly wireframe it. There'll be some logo, there'll be some menu right here, and it will talk about some like what it does, and then it will have like, okay, you can check out all the course here, you can check out all the tools here, and you can check out all the interviews here, or blah blah, and this is how roughly that website will look like, right? And then there'll be a footer here to get you to subscribe, follow, or whatever, blah blah blah. The real deal will be the inner pages, and those I am not too sure. I don't have like too much clarity at this point to be able to go to this level of fidelity with them. Here, I was able to define exactly what I want, right? So exactly, that is called fidelity, folks, right? Fidelity is not about necessarily getting to exact pixel. It's about decisions in wireframing. Here, I'm exactly able to decide exactly what logos I want, what I want this to do, which is high amount of clarity because we have gone through this data. I've done this multiple times, versus here where it's exploratory clarity. I kind of have ideas, but I don't have a solid this thing that this is exactly what I need and for XYZ reason. So this is how wireframing is not about, people often go like, okay, I will get exactly this image, then the line exactly. That is not fidelity. Okay, that is not what wireframing is for. It's the point is that I want to say logo comes here, some kind of menu comes here, some kind of hero section comes here, some kind of 1 2 3 section comes here, and these three sections will be promo, this thing, XYZ. You're thinking out loud, right? And you're going into zooming in and out of how much decision you have. If I have more clarity of what I want here, for example, I know I want TEDx logo, I want my photo, I want my photo in this, so I can keep adding more and more fidelity to the wireframe, right? It is used for visual thinking, and that is how you want to use wireframing. And that is why, in my opinion, pen and paper are some of the most powerful tools. With that, we conclude the main topic of our chat, our live stream today, and exactly in time, despite having a guest, we are exactly on time, and despite starting 5 minutes late, almost 1 hour. So now we're going to take all the chat's questions. So what was, I want to know from you folks in the chat, how was today's live stream? Did you like it? Should I invite more guests or not? Did this wireframing idea make sense? Did the discussion we have around mood boarding, did it make sense to you or not? Was this helpful? And what was the key takeaway from that? And do you agree, disagree with any of the things I've been discussing? Are there any ideas you would like to add? All of it in live chat right now, because now we're going to wrap up the session, and I'm going to make a fast track to answering and engaging with all the questions. All right, so we have Akshay has joined in. Hello, Akshay. Shreya says yes, following. Yes, Akshay says I'll watch the full video later for sure. Akshay, please go. Feel free to do that. I understand it is your dinner time. You have told us last time. Shreya Shaker says, do you write from a second person like Siddharth has given 50 UX talks? Oh, amazing this thing. Shreya, now that you always ask such amazing questions. Shreya, open chat, folks. Shreya, open chat. Who has consistently been asking such amazing questions? So let's take a look at what I've done, right? So here I write in active, right? This is sorry in passive, given 40 plus talks at, and if you notice about passive sentences, you don't have to assign me or them. You just say given 40 plus. I'm not right. Is it third party? Is it third person? Not really, because I'm not saying Siddharth has given talks. Or I could have said I have given talks, right? But I have just removed the subject. So passive sentences is one kind of thing that you can do. However, this is very different from the tone that I take on here, right? Which is a third party tone. Which is, how do you know it's third party? Because written by King Siddharth, already I'm addressing myself third party. who is mostly found solving problems at Headout is again third party. So here I take a different tangent for no good reason. I just it's always been that way, and I've always found that to be tricky. If you go to my history section, right, on homepage, then I have my work, and then there is secret page. Only one link is there, which is my story, right? My and here you see, I do not hesitate to write in first person. I, me, my later. So I dropped out, worked on active sentences, etc. I joined the Instamojo, etc. But yes, I'm slightly careful on that. Here, I'm okay to portray myself as my own. But on blog, I just like, I don't know. I've always found my blog, always written quirky things on my blog. For example, if you go to a blog, right, it is called a cabinet, right? I don't know why I call it. Just it's archived typically, right? Or just called blog. But I just like adding some shenanigans as quirkiness to my copywriting on my blog. I just enjoy it a lot. So yes, that is how you can take that decision. That is how it's separated, but consistency or coherence, actually, not even consistency. Coherence is the more important part. If some parts are more coherent and passive, keep it in passive. If some parts are more coherent in active sentences, then you can keep it in active sentences. And that is how you can go about that. I hope that helps. Okay, once again, Shriya OP. Yes, we have Shriya OP in chat. All righty. What are the rest of you doing? Please do Shriya OP in chat. And if you found it valuable, folks, please hit the like button. We are, what happens is YouTube knows that you are watching, a friend is watching, and last videos you watch and the common videos you watch is on design topics. So they find more people who also watch design videos and they recommend this video to them. That is why I insist on getting the likes. YouTube doesn't pay me yet, not for the likes directly anyway. All right. We then we say all right. Then we have Pavan Rao saying we hit 200 members on Telegram group. Amazing. Thank you so much for bringing this amazing news. The Telegram group has been going phenomenal. So many like amazing conversations. Do join in. If you haven't already, the link you will find in so if somebody like can share the, you can find, actually I'll have to share the link because other people cannot add link to YouTube chat. So if you want to join in, you can join in. We are having special guest for AMA on our Telegram group tomorrow. Join in to know who that special guest is. Then we have Akshay saying, I'll post on Instagram later. Cool. Ritesh says, useful live session. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Ritesh. Pavan Rao, Shriya OP in chat. Yes. Akshay says, the context you give your style, the style of writing and communication. Right. Oh, that's what you enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you, Akshay. Ritesh Patel says, off-topic question. I saw your plan on design in iPad. How useful is iPad in planning? And any more use cases? Planning to buy iPad Pro 2020. My biggest use case is because I was in arts college for the longest time, Ritesh, and I love painting. One of my and I wanted to get back to it. One of the reasons I'm not able to get back because one time the color is over, one time the sheets are over, the brush is gone, and I was done with it. And in a store I use iPad Pro with Apple Pencil, and I was blown away. Like I just wanted to keep painting. So that was my primary reason to get an iPad to paint because it's big therapy for me. And then everything else secondary happens. You can do all of this note taking on pen and paper. Pen and paper are the cheapest way. You don't have to spend a lakh getting an iPad Pro. But if you're getting it for another reason, then note taking is one of the best things you can do on iPad for sure. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of live stream. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm glad that even though we had multiple technical glitches and my Mac continues to give up on me, thank you for your love and support, and you continue to the heartfelt messages that you send. Let go ahead and do the live stream on Zoom. It doesn't matter. And thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. And thank you so much for joining in, therefore. And the next live stream, I haven't really decided what it's going to be about, but I'm thinking that we may bring part 3 of editing the blog post if I'm not already done by making all the custom thing. Let me make some decisions, but join the Telegram group. That's where you will first hear about the new schedule of upcoming live streams. But definitely, whatever it is, next Sunday 9 p.m. we'll go live anyway. If nothing else, we'll do part 2 of this one. Thank you so much for joining in, folks. Good night. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope I build my PC soon as well, Akshay. I hope I build it soon as well. But it's going to be bloody expensive for first. I'm trying to get the Mac repaired because then it'll be far cheaper because all the prices, because of shock in supply chain, all the prices are really high. Do share your specs before, for sure. I haven't decided on that, Akshay, so I will share my specs for sure. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much. Love you all.